Caetano Hortopombo and Dennis Caraquedo Ferrero. Lane 2 for Greece, Petros Kaidatsis and Antonios Papakonstantinou. Lane 3 for Switzerland, Jan Schäuble and Rafael Ahumada Ireland. Lane 4 for Ireland, Hugh Moore and Fintan McCarthy. Lane 5 for Germany, Paul Leerkamp and Jonathan Romerman. And completing the field in lane 6 for Portugal, Afonso Duarte Costa and Dinis Duarte Costa. There went the buzzer. We're underway with the first AB semi-final of the afternoon, and indeed the first AB semi-final of the championship week here in Bled, Slovenia. 6 boats getting started for 3 places into that A final, where they will contest the A final to try and get themselves some medals. That A final for the lightweight men's double sculls taking place tomorrow afternoon at 2:13 local time here in Bled. So hot competition to try and get into those 3 places into the A final. The rest will go through to the B final, where they'll contend places 7 through 12 in the championship rankings. Now, the early leaders, Ireland pushing for the front, but not by much. Switzerland absolutely level with them. Ireland still up there at 45 strokes a minute. Switzerland at 41.
Začenja se torej popoldanski del današnjega petka Evropskega prvenstva na Bledu. Začenjamo torej s polfinali in tole je že prva polfinalna skupina lahkih moških dvojnih dvojcev. Na progi 1 Španija, na progi 2 Grčija, na progi 3 Švica, na progi 4 Irska, na progi 5 Nemčija in pa na progi 6 Portugalska.
400 metres in, Ireland struggling to establish a lead ahead of Switzerland. Ireland still up there at 40 strokes a minute. They're perhaps a canvas ahead of Switzerland at 38. Fintan McCarthy in the stroke seat of the Irish boat, world champion from the lightweight double in Rachice last year. Now joined by Hugh Moore, and they'll be looking to make sure that they solidify a place into that A final. Currently riding in the danger zone, though, is Germany. Leerkamp and Rommelmann are not much ahead of Greece. There's perhaps a few centimetres separating them going through 500. Not much to split them out now. So this second and third 500, where they really establish the race rhythm, is going to be key for their positions and their potential progress. I think Portugal and Spain, they're not out of it yet either. They're only a length and a half down on that tightly packed group looking for the front of the field. Now we've got Camilla Haddon-Horrocks at the 1,000 metres in her catamaran. Camilla, I hope you've had a good lunch break. What are you seeing from where you are?
Had a great lunch break, thank you. Feeling very revitalised out here on the water, and a big breeze is what I can feel and see, sort of pushing a few ripples onto the water, but a nice tail breeze nonetheless for these lightweight athletes. You mentioned it was a great start for Ireland, but they have been rowed through by Switzerland, and perhaps an effect of the cowbells we heard even up at the start here from the Swiss fans, which has only encouraged the church bells to ring further. So plenty of support here for Switzerland, who push into the lead, just shy of 1,000 gone. Ireland falling back into second place, but that will be a joint second place with Greece. That's the Greek double that are starting to try and overpower Ireland. The world champion you mentioned, Fintan McCarthy, back into this boat to join Hugh Moore in place of his brother, and they are currently in danger of being rowed through by Germany as well. What an upset that would be. The Olympic and world champion Fintan McCarthy out of the final of the lightweight men's double sculls. Still half of this race yet to row. 4 crews out in front, but the most notable lead here is Schaubler and Ahmada of Switzerland. They've got a length now on a 3-boat fight for the A final places. Germany, Ireland and Greece all going after it, leaving Portugal and Spain on the outside lanes to fight further for the minor places. But what a performance here from Switzerland. They got a bronze medal at last year's European Championships in Munich. I feel a sense with this performance that they could be improving on that medal colour, especially looking back at such a high quality field. You've got Ireland there, as we've already mentioned, in the German boat. Jonathan Rommelmann returning after a year out post silver medal in Tokyo to the Irish, in fact, and he's joined by Paul Leerkamp in the bow seat after only beginning to row in December. And making it all the way back into an A final would be a huge step on for Germany in this event. But leading the way into 500 to go, what performance here from Switzerland, Richie?
Yeah, they're dominating here. They are the informed crew, having the fastest time coming out of the heats, faster than Ireland, who are the second fastest crew in the earlier races that we've had. So all the running in the centre of the course. But good to see that the German and Greek crews are pushing up here as well. And as you mentioned, if Swiss can hold on to the lead that they've gone through, just about 1 length ahead of the crew from Greece in second, the Irish in third at the moment, just about half a length ahead of the Germans. So they're in that danger zone that we talked about earlier, and they will really need to push on here to secure the third qualifying spot into the final. Back then further to Portugal and Spain, battling it out for 5th and 6th. So really interesting tussle here at the start of the front of this leading pack. Switzerland really pushing on here, having a fantastic row, up at 38 strokes per minute. They're still the fastest boat on the water. The Irish up at 40, a couple of pips higher than the other crews that are there, and they're doing their best to get back into securing that third spot. It's all going to be about how the Germans can get into contention. Greece rowing very well in second place at the moment, and might be a bit of a surprise for some to see them ahead of the Irish crews. And Pete, what a way to start this afternoon's session than seeing the Swiss, and I'm sure the cowbells will be dusted off and going to support them in. It's all about those minor places for second and third to get into the A final.
Yeah, hasn't this all turned around? Jan Schäuble, Rafael Ahumada, Ireland out in front now, pumping it away at 40-41 strokes a minute. They've lifted it from the 37-38 that they did through the first 1,000, so they've really kicked things up. I think they wanted to really backload this race and show the Irish that they've got an extra gear to go to.
Ja, Švicarja sta prevzela pobudo, na drugem mestu pa Grka, no aktualna evropska prvaka oziroma evropski prvak Fintan McCarthy in pa olimpijski in svetovni prvak pa na tretjem mestu šele.
There we go. Switzerland take the win, and an amazing performance from Kaidatsis and Papakonstantinou of Greece to move up through Ireland as well to take second. Ireland hold on to third and that last place through to the A final. So that's the 3 going to the A final. 4th place Spain, 5th place Germany and 6th place Portugal will go through to the B final.
V finale so se torej uvrstile posadka Švice, Grčije in pa Irske.
Now we'll find out who's joining Switzerland, Greece and Ireland in that A final. The second AB semi has just passed through 500. In this race, we've got Christian Hagemann and Alexander Modest for Denmark in lane 1, Jiří Simanek and Miroslav Rastil for the Czech Republic in 2, Igor Chmara and Stanislav Kovilov for Ukraine in lane 3, Stefano Oppo and Gabriel Suarez for Italy in 4, Daniel Galeza and Jerzy Kowalski for Poland in lane 5, and Lars Benske and Askjal Tjurm for Norway in lane 6.
Pa poglejmo še drugo polfinalno skupino lahkih moških dvojnih dvojcev. Na progi 1 veslata Danca, na progi 2 Čeha, na progi 3 Ukrajinca, na progi 4 Italijana, na progi 5 Poljaka in pa na progi 6 Norvežana.
Coming up to 800 metres in Italy out in front, Camilla.
Yes, this new Italian combination of Suarez and Oppo looking to come back to glory, I suppose, after that Olympic bronze medal they got in Tokyo. Stefano Oppo in the bow seat was part of that crew, but new joiner Gabriel Suarez, the world champion, the lightweight men's single last year, and Nurcice certainly helping power this boat along. But up alongside them, we can't forget about the Czech Republic, Simonek and Vrastil, who had to make it through the repêchages, but seems to not be affecting their performance here in this AB semi-final, having had to contest an extra race, as they're only a matter of a metre back from the fast-moving Italian crew. So they sit in second. Third place still up for grabs here. Ukraine, bronze medalist at the World Championships last year, going toe-to-toe with Norway. Benske and Tjom right up here as well. And Poland in lane number 5, Galeza and Kowalski. They are just maybe a third of a length off that fight for third too. So all bar one crew essentially in the running for the A final here in this second AB semi-final of the lightweight men's double sculls. The only crew off the pace somewhat, Hagemann and Modest of Denmark over in lane number 1 on tower side. They're just slipping back and back, but now moving through 750 metres of this race left to go. The Italians still showing their form here in this third 500, not letting anyone catch them up, but the race behind is developing to be quite a show. We've got the Czech Republic still, Simonek and Vrastil in second position, but it's all to play for here between Ukraine, Poland, Norway. I think the Ukrainians at the moment hold on to that third spot into the A final, but like we saw in that previous race, Richie, anything can happen in the final sprint.
Absolutely, especially with these lightweight double sculls. We've seen some great racing so far, and it's holding up to be true as well, moving through the A and B semi-finals. A lot closer than the previous race where we had Switzerland, Greece and Ireland qualifying. Here it really is going to come down to the wire to see who can time it perfectly with their pushes to get through and take the win here. Leading it out at the moment is the Italian boat, just right beside them in lane 2. The Czech Republic now just coming up to within, I'd say, it looks like the size of a loaf of bread really between the two of them to get back in contention there. Ukraine going well as well to stay in touch, as indeed are Norway. So very little between all 4 crews coming down. 3 spots to qualify here. The Denmark crew just a little bit further back and off the pace at the moment, but it's all to play for. The Italians rowing very, very nicely, but that Czech, Yuri Simonek and Miroslav Vrastil, are really a wealth of experience, and they're bringing it to this race here and really pushing on now to try take the lead from the Italians coming into the run. And what a turn-up that would be after all the running that this combination from Italy have done in the first half of the race. So all to play for. It's the Italians and the Czech Republic going at each other, matching each other stroke for stroke. The Polish crew rating much lower than the other competitors there. Norway up at 40, Poland just at 36. So they're going to start winding for the line here. And really, Pete, I have no idea who's going to get these qualifying positions and even who's going to come first.
Yeah, I tell you what, Miroslav Vrastil, Yuri Simonek, they've motored up to the front from 3rd at the 500. Miroslav Vrastil, an Ironman triathlete who competes at the World Championships in Ironman as well as the World Championships in rowing. An immense athlete, and they've rocketed out to the front, moving ahead of Italy.
Prihajajo torej čolni in v spredju zdaj le italijansko-češki dvoboj za zmago v tem polfinalu. Sicer 3 mesta vodijo v veliki finale, na koncu pa zmaga za Češko.
There we go. The Czech Republic take the win, a matter of centimetres ahead of Italy, and then 3rd place Ukraine. That's the 1, 2, 3 going through to the A final to join Switzerland, Greece and Ireland. We'll then see Norway, Poland and Denmark progress through to the B final. An immense conclusion there. Miroslav Vrastil, Yuri Simonek for the Czech Republic.
Torej, drugovrščena iz Zagreba, Jerzy Simonek in pa Miroslav Vrastil sta zmagovalca tega drugega polfinala. Pridružila pa se jim bosta iz te skupine v finalu še Italijana in pa Ukrajinca.
The next race is already on the course. It's the C final for the lightweight men's double sculls. So being a C final, they're contesting places 13 to 18 because there's only 5 boats in this race. It's places 13 to 17 in the European Rowing Championship rankings. Lining up here then, we've got Enes Gok and Sefik Kakmak for Turkey in lane 1. Konrad Hulch and Paul Ruttmann for Austria in 2. Marlon Colpert and Niels van Zandwege for Belgium in lane 3. Dale Flockhart and Daniel Jones for Great Britain in 4, and Ander Koppel and Elar Loth for Estonia in lane 5. They're already going through the 1,000 metres, so we'll jump straight to Camilla. Camilla, it looks like Great Britain out in front. They appeared a bit disappointed to be in this C final.
Yeah, you're right. They were a bit disappointed to find themselves in the C final, especially because this was the blueprint of their race in the repechage. They went out really hard in the first 1,500 metres and then succumbed to a row through in the final 500 metres through the sprint. So they're going to have to watch out, and we'll have to see if they've learnt from their lessons, Jones and Flockhart here. They've been training up in Scotland in this combination in preparation for this European Championships. Dale Flockhart, Edinburgh University Boat Club, formerly St Andrew Boat Club as well, so always been a Scottish athlete, and joined recently by Daniel Jones to make this leading combination in the C final. But behind, well, this is really shaping up to be quite the first final of the day, as Belgium, Austria and Turkey are all stroke for stroke and all matched 37-38 strokes a minute between these 3 crews that run in second. Belgium getting the better of the rest of them by just a couple of metres. Turkey run in 3rd, and then Austria in 5th by no more than half a length, if that. It's all going to be down to this final sprint. Who's got the gears left to give for the final positions? Just Estonia in lane number 5 that we've not spoken about yet. They're some way off the pace of this rapidly moving C final, and Great Britain leading the way into the final 500, Richie.
Yeah, great to see them doing so well here, leading it out. They have from the start, holding on to the lead. Impressive from the Belgians. They were 5th going through 500, now moved into 2nd place, and they were the fastest crew in the earlier repechages, so it'll be interesting to see what they do over the last 500 and see if they can mount a challenge. They've just about half a length between them and the GB crew, and then it is GB in a 2nd place, just ahead of the crew from Austria, and Turkey staying in touch as well. Turkey pushing on now into 3rd place ahead of Austria, with the Estonians back and forth. So there's probably a length and a half separating 1st, 2nd and 3rd. GB doing all the running in the first half of the race. The Belgians having a really, really good middle part of the course there to move from 5th into 2nd to come up to challenge. And of course here on the inside in lane 1, Gok and Kakman of Turkey, they are going on a charge here, and it might be them that come into challenge for 2nd or even into 1st position before they come into the line. So they're down to about 200 to go. Belgium really flying through here, coming up to challenge GB, and all to play for Pete. The Belgians, can anyone stop them?
Yeah, what a race. Marlon Koppel, Niels van Zandwege absolutely rocketing out to the front. They were 5th through the 500, 2nd through the 1,000 and the 1,500. They're now out in front by about half a length ahead of Great Britain coming into the closing stages. This is the C final, so these will be places 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17 that they're contesting in the championship rankings, and the pride that they can take home back to their nation. So Belgium out in front of Great Britain.
Ja, zadnji vzdihljaj finala C lahkih moških dvojnih dvojcev. Britanca sta bila večino časa v vodstvu, rahlo razočarane za britansko posadko tale finale C, ampak očitno bo to razočaranje še večje, kajti Belgica in pa Turka sta pred posadko Velike Britanije.
Belgium take the win. Turkey take 2nd ahead of Great Britain in 3rd, 4th place, then Austria, and 5th Estonia in this C final for the lightweight men's doubles. Next up then, it's into the CD semi-finals. The first of the 2 CD semis for the men's doubles is up first. We've got Emil Nakov and Boris Yotov for Bulgaria in lane 1. Yuri Ivanov and Pavlov Yurchenko for Ukraine in 2. Krzysztof Kasparek and Simon Poznik for Poland in lane 3. And Bashkai Mate and Zabo Marton for Hungary in lane 4.
Začenjamo s polfinali CD, najprej za moške dvojne dvojce, no potem pa še za moške enojce. Ob 15:25 nastopa tudi Filip Matej Pfeiffer. Pripravite se slovenski navijači. Zdaj pa gremo torej k prvi skupini moških dvojnih dvojcev, v kateri so sta Bolgara, Ukrajinca, Poljaka in pa Mađara.
So this being a CD semi-final, the first three will go through to the C final and the trailing fourth boat will go through to the D final. The D final contests places 19 through 24 in the championship rankings. They're passing Camilla at halfway, so let's catch up and find out how they're getting on.
Thanks, Pete. Yes, I'm riding at the moment with the Ukrainian pairing of Ivanov and Yurchenko, who lead out Poland by 3/4 of a length as we hit exactly halfway. I think these two crews looking relatively safe, actually, and if anything, I've just seen Poland put a small kick through the drive to try and power themselves through Ukraine. They've not done anything to the rating. They're just trying to lever their way to run up and pull alongside Ukraine. Their boat speed now matching the leading Ukrainians at the same rating. Pretty much identical race plans here by our two leaders. Then further back, well, that's where the interesting story is going to happen, is there's a cut-off, as Pete mentioned, the final crew to go to the D final and third place, the last place, into the C final. And so as it stands, it's Emil Nakov and Boris Yotov of Bulgaria. The young Emil Nakov, under-23 bronze medalist in the bow seat, just 21 years of age, trying to heave this double scull along with Boris Yotov into a C final qualifying position, and being done quite effectively as it stands at the moment. They are staying just a hair's width ahead of Hungary's Baksky and Szabo, but Richie, with only 500 meters or so to go, the Hungarians starting to wind the racing up now.
Yeah, we can see the push coming on there, looking to get that third qualifying spot into Final C. It's a tale of two races here, centre of the course, Ukraine and Poland matching each other with boat speed. The Polish crew just taking the rate up a little bit slightly, coming through 500, so might be putting on and then making their move to come through. And they've just taken about half a length ahead of Ukraine. So it's Poland leading it out from the Ukrainians, and then it's clear water back to the crew from Hungary and Bulgaria, just pushing each other on here. And again, similarly to Ukraine and Poland, they're matching each other. There's very little between, and even with stroke to stroke, the lead is changing for third and fourth in that qualifying spot at the moment. It is with Bulgaria, Noikov and Yoitov just pushing on and looking to secure that spot. Good work being done by the Ukraine and Poland. They're pushing on again and advancing on. Poland just continuing to move away and looked to take the spot there. They moved out to a 10-meter lead ahead of Ukraine in second place. So finish line will be in sight for the three crews who are looking to advance on to Final C. It looks like the Bulgarian crew might have done enough, but a little sprint finish here from Hungary might see them come back into contention. And as I say that they're moving up now, up at 42 strokes per minute. So the crew to watch, Pete, it's the Hungarian crew.
Yeah, they seem to be putting everything into this now. Baksky and Szabo up at 41, trying to close in. But what a performance from Kasparek and Poznik of Poland out in front, coming from second through the 1,000, now leading. It's perhaps half a length coming to the closing stages, but they've dropped the hammer now. 37 strokes a minute to Ukraine's 41, but the 37 strokes a minute Poles are pulling away. A great performance from them. They're up to nearly a length on Ukraine.
Finale C se zagotovo nasmiha Poljakoma in pa Ukrajincema. V ozadju pa dvoboj za tretjo vstopnico v C finale med bolgarskim in pa mađarskim čovnom.
Great little race there at the end between Poland and Ukraine for the front of the field. But the story is all about Hungary moving up through Bulgaria to take that third and last place into the C final. So it's Poland, Ukraine and Hungary going through to the C final, and we'll see Bulgaria go through to the D final. Next up then is the second CD semi-final for the men's double sculls. Only two boats to go through from this three-horse race. We've got Denmark in lane one, Magnus Rathenborg and Bastian Secker. Jonas Richter and Hugo Nerud for Sweden in lane two. Mikael Kustein and Johan Polak for Estonia in lane three. So only two boats going through to the C final. The last boat in this race will go through to the D final.
Imamo zgolj 3 posadke v drugi skupini. oziroma v drugem polfinalu CD moških dvojnih dvojcev, Dansko, Švedsko in pa Estonsko. Ena bo nastopila v D-finalu, najboljši dve pa v finalu C.
So they're just passing through the 1,000 meters and passing Camilla. It looks quite close at the front here, Camilla. Estonia just clinging on to the lead by their fingernails.
Yeah, it is very close. They led to 500. They've led now to the 1,000 meter, and it's still Sweden breathing down their necks there. Richter and Nerud of Sweden are well, I think just at the moment settling for running next to the Estonians in this third 500 meters, but maybe lining themselves up well for any potential kind of fuel they've got left in the tank for a sprint. They should know that so long as they're in these top two positions, they are safe to get through to the C final. They will race again for those higher rankings, and both of these crews with clear water ahead of Denmark. So perhaps Sweden happy to sit next to Estonia in those leading positions and just run it out. They have about 3 meters to make up. They're at 35 strokes a minute if they want to surpass the crew of Kushtin and Polak of Estonia. But both of these crews out at the front of the field, Estonia and Sweden, look pretty happy to be out here on a sunny day in Lake Bled. Richie.
Yeah, ideal conditions as well for the crews here. The two leading crews, as we were saying there, they can sit on the lead that they have against Denmark. They might race it between them just to see who'll get the upper hand, but they are making the use of the conditions here. A nice tailwind to catch the blades early and push them down into the last 500. Just watching the crews now coming through the 500 marker, and it is still the Estonian crew leading it out from Sweden. They're just about a canvas lead, so there's very little between the two, and it's about a length of clear water then back to Denmark. And again, if Denmark are looking to get into that final C, they're going to have to go now. They're going to have to take the rate right up. They're at 35 at the moment. They are the slowest boat out there. They really will need to pick it up if they're going to challenge Sweden and Estonia for the two qualifying spots. The Estonian crew leading still up at 37. The Swedish crew now taking it up a little bit, looking to put a bit of pressure on them. They're about 3 or 4 meters to make up, which is just shy of half a boat length, with about 250 meters to go. So coming into view, Pete, it is going to be the Danish crew who have all the running. I think they're going to run out of water with nearly 30 meters that they would need to make up. So looking good for Sweden and Estonia into final C.
Yeah, I think they're just too little too late now. We're coming to the last 200, and Denmark would have an ocean of clear water to close down. Rathenborg and Secker looking pretty set on the D final now, but out in front, Johan Polak and Mikael Kushtin for Estonia. A great performance from them, leading all the way through and just about clinging onto the lead ahead of Richter and Nerud of Sweden, currently in second place. These two boats looking confident for the places in the C final from this CD semi.
Ja, nič kaj dobro ne kaže Dancema, zato pa se toliko bolj smeje Švedoma in pa še posebno Estoncema, ki praktično ostajata v vodstvu vse od samega začetka, od štarta, in prihajata v cilj kot prva.
Well, coming out across the line then, Estonia are going to hold on to it just shy of a length ahead of Sweden. That's the 1-2 going through to the C final, where they'll join Poland, Ukraine and Hungary, and that means that we'll see Denmark again in the D final with Bulgaria.
Ja, takole, zdaj pa je čas za slovenske navijače, namreč začenja se druga polfinalna skupina CD med moškimi enojci, in v tej skupini na tretji progi vesla tudi Filip Matej Pfeiffer.
Well, just 2 races remain in today's schedule of racing here on day 2 of the 2023 European Rowing Championships, Bled, Slovenia. We've now got the first of the 2 CD semi-finals for the men's single sculls. Andrei Pinto for Portugal is in lane 1, Piotr Plominski for Poland in 2, Filip Matej Pfeiffer for Slovenia in lane 3, Baman Naziri for Azerbaijan in lane 4, and completing our field in lane 5 for Finland, Olli-Pekka Karppinen. They're just coming through 750. Out in front, Piotr Plominski currently leading. First 3 go through to the C final, so we're going to be looking for that dividing line between second and third. Between third and fourth. Currently in second, we have Naziri for Azerbaijan, and then it's quite close between the trailing 3 athletes from Portugal, Slovenia and Finland for that crucial third place. But we've got Camilla Hadland-Horrocks perfectly positioned to tell us how they're getting on through halfway.
Thanks, Pete. It is pretty perfect out here on the water. It's so sunny. It's glistening on this beautifully clear azure waters. But the scullers will be enjoying this second 500 meters as they approach halfway. It's still the Polish sculler Piotr Plominski that is quite comfortably in the lead. A reasonable amount of clear water separating himself from the sculler from Azerbaijan. That's Nasiri that runs in second. And we're looking for our top three here to go to the C final. And Andre Pinto of Portugal just edging out the home favourite, Filip Matai Pfeiffer of Slovenia. He had a really tough race earlier in the day today and looking a little bit laboured through these final the last few strokes that we've just seen through the 1,000 metres, and I do wonder whether that sprint finish took it out of him earlier. This is not only home country for him, but home club here on Lake Bled for Filip Matai Pfeiffer, and so I'm sure he'll need that extra burst of energy from the home fans to see him through the final half of this course. But he's going head-to-head with Olli-Pekka Karppinen at the back of this field for 4th and 5th, and as I say, just looking a little bit tired through this third 500 and some way off the pace of the leading two athletes from Poland and Azerbaijan. Portugal in that third and crucial seat to head through to the C final. Andre Pinto will be closest to Brian Richardson as we enter the final 600 metres.
Thanks, Camilla. Ideal conditions, as you say. The wind has picked up another bit here, which will suit these single scullers. It'll push them down that bit quicker coming down the course. And the efforts, as you said, from the race earlier on for the Slovenian sculler, Filip Matai Pfeiffer, might have taken their effect. He was so unlucky not to advance into the AB semi-finals, but racing out here, the earlier race might just have taken it out of him. So leading it out, still having a really good row, is Plominski of Poland, ahead of the sculler then from Azerbaijan in second place. Portugal, Pinto in third. They're the 1, 2 and 3 coming through 500, and it's will advance on to final C. We're just waiting to see the other positions then to see who's going into final D. But Plominski just passing me here now at the island. He's got 2 or 3 lengths of clear water, and then stroke for stroke they're matching each other, Portugal and Azerbaijan. Very little between them, and then some way back to the sculler from Finland in fourth, Karppinen of Finland just, and the other scullers again just coming through the 500 metre mark here. So final C, it looks like it is going to be Poland, Portugal and Azerbaijan. They're the 1, 2 and 3 at the moment coming down into the enclosure. I don't think the Finnish sculler can get back into contention, and the Slovenian sculler also has now just wound down. It looks like he is just going to take this home nice and easy. The earlier race taking its toll on him. But Pete, those single scullers coming into view for you now in the first of these C and D semi-finals. Going into final C. Nice row from the Polish sculler here, and very little between Portugal and Azerbaijan.
Yeah, not too much to separate them, but I think you called it there, Richie. Those at the back of the field, I think, have accepted where they are and will be looking to conserve any energy for that D final later on in competition, because Plominski out in front for Poland, looking very confident and strong. Pinto for Portugal in second, and Nasiri for Azerbaijan currently in third, with a few lengths of clear water back to Karppinen for Finland currently in fourth, and then Pfeiffer for Slovenia currently in fifth. They're looking set for the D final. So last 100 or so metres for our leader, Piotr Plominski of Poland.
Ja, trenutno kaže na vodstvo Poljaka pred Portugalcem in pa Azerbajdžancem. Žal pa je očitno dopoldanski nastop Filipu Mateju Pfeifferju pobral preveč moči, tudi morda volje, in je trenutno na zadnjem 5. mestu. Morda nekaj spodbude za predstavnika veslaškega kluba Ljubljanice, tudi z tribun za tele zaključne zaveslaje na letošnjem prvenstvu tukaj na Bledu.
So that's them across the line. We've got Plominski, Pinto and Nasiri go through to the C final. We will see Karppinen and Pfeiffer again in the D final. Moving promptly on then to the second CD semi-final and our last race of the day here on day 2 of the 2023 European Rowing Championships Bled. We're going to find out who's joining Poland, Portugal and Azerbaijan in the C final. Lining up here in this second CD semi for the men's singles, we have Canton Antonielli for Monaco in lane 1, Brian Kolsch for Ireland in 2, Alexandros Sissimidis for Cyprus in lane 3, Kjetil Borch for Norway in lane 4, Danny Fridman of Israel in 5, and Eskil Borg for Sweden in lane 6.
Ja, v cilj je zdaj le priveslal tudi Filip Matej Pfeiffer. Upajmo, da je vse v redu in da bo seveda Filip Matej Pfeiffer pripravljen tudi na naslednje tekme. Sicer pa zdaj le v zadnji tekmi današnjega dne Monačan, potem Irec, Ciprčan, Norvežan, Izraelec in pa Švec.
Well, look at this, Camilla. You couldn't throw a handkerchief across these 6 scullers. There's barely anything separating them.
Barely anything separating them indeed. What a great single sculls race we've got here in the CD semi-final, and the results kind of overturning themselves. Not what I was expecting through the 500 metres. It was going almost from lanes 1 to 6, and we'd expect most progress to come from the centre lanes, but it is Quentin Antognelli of Monaco, the flag bearer for the Principality of Monaco at the Tokyo Olympic Games, that leads by just shy of a length ahead of Kjetil Borch, who's moved his way from 6th through to 2nd in that second 500 metres. But then, my word, this is maybe one of the best races we've seen today. I couldn't use a better phrase, throwing a handkerchief over the whole field, because I think we've got 2 boat lengths separating first from last here. If I was going to try and pick between them, I think, as I say, Monaco in first. It's then Norway's Borch in second. I then think it might be Kolsch of Ireland just moving into 3rd place, but really nothing much to choose between himself, Eskil Borg, Danny Fridman, and Sissimidis of Cyprus as well. I think just last there in 6th position, but this is going to be a crazy race coming into the final 600 metres to determine that top 3 to get into the A final. I think Borg just really setting into his stride here. He's got so much experience of tight racing in single. He was part of that epic final in 2019 in Linz, where you could separate the top few scullers by just a hair's breadth. But coming into 500 metres to go, Richie, isn't this a stunning sight to see?
What a way to wrap up our racing here for today with this men's single sculls race. Unbelievable. It's a blanket. They're coming across the 500 metres now. Nothing at all separating first to 6th. And it is the sculler Monaco leading it out just by about a half a length then ahead of Borch from Norway in a 2nd place. Brian Kolsch, the young 20-year-old, coached by Frank Keane, having a really great race here now in 3rd place, looking to secure their 3rd spot into Final C. Would be a great result for the young 20-year-old to get into the final. And very little then between all the other crews as well. We have Cyprus, Israel, Sweden, all within striking distance of making it into the C final. So everything to play for down to the last 500. But Borch had a really, really good solid 700 metres there coming through to move from 6th place into 2nd place. He's doing all the running. Can Antognelli hold on to the early lead that he took off of the start? He's led through 500, led through 1,000, led through 1,500, and now coming under increased pressure from Brian Kolsch, moving up as well as Borch from Norway. They're the 1, 2 and 3, and it looks like they might have the position sewn up for Final C. But what a great way, Pete, for us to close out our racing here today.
Yeah, it really did need to spread out a little bit because it was so pinched and tight at the 1,000 metre mark. But I think we've got the dividing line starting to settle here. We've got Monaco out in front, Norway currently in 2nd, but only a nose ahead of Ireland. So a good race from Antognelli, Borch and Kolsch. They look pretty set for that C final, unless we see anything dramatic from Eskil Borg, who's trying to put something strong in for this finish. He's up at 40 strokes a minute.
Ja, večino proge je pripadlo Quentinu Antognelliju iz Monaka, ampak tudi irski in pa norveški predstavnik, torej ta 2 predstavnika sta blizu. Zadnji metri bodo odločali, kdo bo zmagovalec te skupine.
Wow, this has tightened up a lot. Quentin Antognelli's going for the win. Then it's going to be Kolsch and then Borch. That's how I saw it across the line. We'll have to wait for the official result because it was Borch for Norway, what looked to be a centimetre, if that, maybe even just a millimetre ahead of Borg for Sweden. So quite a close one there between Norway and Sweden. And I think just out of it was Fridman of Israel. You can see that they're thinking about it in the officials' tent, trying to work out who was. Yeah, that's what I saw. Quentin Antognelli first for Monaco, Brian Kolsch for Ireland 2nd, and then it was Kjetil Borch for Norway. Those 3 go through to the C final. Eskil Borg, yeah, look at that, just missing out by 18 hundredths of a second for 4th place, ahead of Danny Fridman for 5th. And then we'll see them again in the D final.
Ja, res srhljivka za zaključek v boju za torej 2 dodatni vstopnici. Quentin Antonieli, kar udobna zmaga za tega monaškega veslača, sicer pa v ozadju res troboj za, oziroma lahko rečemo kar četveroboj za preostali 2 vstopnici v finale C. Na koncu srečneža Brian Collish, irski predstavnik, in pa Norvežan Kjetil Borch.